Hey guys, how are you all doing today? So, I finally got the Rise of Skywalker art book, The Art of the Rise of Skywalker, and let me tell you, it's a really amazing book. There's tons of different concept ideas, things from the novel that wasn't in the film have been actually fleshed out with art, and they even went as far as actually making some of the props, which I'll get to in another video, and you'll see at the end of this one, I'm going to highlight that as well, corresponding to the Mustafar scene, which would have been absolutely unreal. There's concept art galore regarding it. Today's video is going to go over something that I really wish we got in the film. This was a side quest which would have had Kylo Ren going to Coruscant and going back to the Jedi Temple. This is literally the only page in the book that we have on it, and it is phenomenal. So before I read the captions that we get in the book about this scene that would have been so cool to see, basically Kylo Ren goes to Coruscant to find something. He goes to the Jedi Temple to find something. Now, Coruscant was the most bustling city in Star Wars, at least in my opinion. It was riddled with just skyscrapers and shops and life. Now, according to online, Coruscant had a population of over 1 trillion. That's 1,000 billion. Now, just imagine that. We got just about 7 billion here on Earth. And when Kylo goes back to the planet in The Rise of Skywalker, or like how he was supposed to in these concept arts, the planet is dead. It's just full of dust, and it's now overrun by giant wolves. Let's read what they had to say. Instead of finding his way to Exegol, in the early November 2017 version of the Rise of Skywalker story, Kylo Ren instead takes his shuttle to a desolate, ash-covered Coruscant, the once bustling city streets now overrun by giant wolves. Inside the abandoned Jedi Temple, Kylo takes a central elevator down to the temple's deepest level. Now, I'm sure JJ had his reasons why he didn't put this in the film, and I'm sure the story group had their reasons, but I really think this would have been such a cool scene to see. Something that would have really helped tie Episode 9 into the prequels would have been to see the Jedi Temple, and to see what had become of it, because the last time we saw it in the films was when Anakin raided it with the 501st during Order 66, and when Obi-Wan and Yoda walked through it to see all the dead younglings and the Jedi that had been slain. I think taking Kylo back here instead of Exegol would have been something that maybe made a little bit more sense. I mean, I understand that perhaps, Palpatine needed to have this secret world that the Jedi didn't really know all that much about. I mean, Luke was trying to find it, but he needed to have this world that was far away where he could just have this clone factory being developed, where there were clones of Snoke and clones of him and so on and so forth. Now, if he had this in the Jedi Temple, then it would have been just a bit too easy for the Jedi to realize, hey, Palpatine's doing something here. After all, he did take over the Jedi Temple as his own headquarters after Order 66. So this leads me to think that maybe the original draft of The Rise of Skywalker in 2017, and this version here that we see with the concept art, maybe didn't have Palpatine, and maybe it didn't have him cloning things and cloning himself. As it says, Kylo was going to the deepest level of the temple. What was in the deepest level? Well, apparently, below the actual temple was a Sith Temple. And this is one of the theories as to how Palpatine disguised himself the entire time right under the Jedi's noses. It's because this Sith Temple emanated such a dark energy that it clouded a Jedi's judgment.
The dark side clouds everything.
Now, why is Kylo going to the deepest part? Well, it could be for that Sith Temple, or it could be for him to enter the restricted section, which housed a lot of Sith holocrons and Sith artifacts and scrolls and things like that the Jedi kept. This, to me, would make a lot more sense. This is a place where Anakin really wanted to go, and if you didn't know, this is one of the main reasons he wanted to become a master, because only masters had access to the restricted section. And if he got access to it, then maybe he might find out, an old Sith legend with Darth Plagueis in it, and how to cheat death, and he wouldn't have to turn to the dark side to do it. But, of course, that was taken from him too, so in the end, he really had no choice. He said, okay, I gotta turn to the dark side, and if I don't, well, Padme dies. Now, in the restricted section, let's say if Kylo goes in there, what could he be searching for? Maybe they could have twisted it and, still kept it in the film, where he would have to find the Wayfinder, perhaps, on Coruscant in the Jedi Temple. But then, of course, that would maybe leave out Mustafar, and he wouldn't go there. But they could, of course, make another sort of timeline or reason for him to go there as well. Maybe another part of it had to do with Vaders Castle. I really feel like this was a missed opportunity. I really wish they would have put this in the film, because the Jedi Temple was such an integral part of the Jedi. It's where they learned to become Jedi. It's where they came to fulfill their destiny and be keepers of the peace. not soldiers. So I'm sure, of course, JJ had his reasons, but this is page 224 of The Art of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown. Tomorrow, we will be going over, or actually in the next couple days, we will be going over this video right here, which is from the novelization, which The Art of the Rise of Skywalker goes hand in hand with, because it has tons and tons of concept art of what this scene was supposed to look like between Kylo and the Oracle on Mustafar by Vaders Castle. And this Oracle was protecting something that Vader had kept there away from everyone else. And of course, Kylo was able to get it, this being the Wayfinder. They actually went as far to create the creature themselves, but it wasn't in the film. Or maybe it was shot and we might see it someday in the future, who knows. Stay tuned for that video, leave a like on this if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.